So in shamanic counseling or shamanic work, one thing for you to know about the way a shaman works traditionally, that's really different than coaching, is they are tuned into their guides and they do a session with someone, whatever the tradition. This is a real general picture of it. They're like a bridge that the guides work through, and the guides connect to the spirit of the person, and they help bring in resources. So it's all happening in a kind of space of non-ordinary reality. So I love that work. I just love the shamanic healing work, and Mark and I both have a lot of healing sessions, actually over Zoom, with our shamanic counselor Frank, and I also absolutely love the tradition of Bon Buddhism. I'm saying it incorrectly. Bon, I can't. It's B-O-N, but there's like an R in there when you say it, and I never say it correctly. So that's the tradition in Tibet. Before what you think of as Tibetan Buddhism, it incorporates a lot of the more what is the word, like
the original shamanic culture kind of?
Yeah, and focuses a lot on the elements the way Ayurveda does. And so in all of those traditions, there's this idea that I think we could translate to Western psychology really well, where a person has a trauma or an illness or a loss of some kind, and a part of them that is able to get away gets away. And so go to these modern times, a person like has a terrible case of mono, let's say, and they miss 6 months of school, and they're home and they feel isolated and weakened. And a part of them, and this is sort of mysterious what that means, but a part of them, it's thought of like a part of their essence kind of panics, is traumatized, and it might go and hide for a while until the person can call it back in a healthy way. And time and normal life unfolding will usually bring back that part in an easy way. But in today's world, many of us have traumas where it seems that for a very long time, now I think time is the best healer. So time as a healer might bring back those parts as the person becomes more and more whole, more and more safe. But let's say someone has a car accident and they never feel quite the same. Their physical body repairs, but something still feels shaken inside them. There's more lasting kind of anxiety from that car accident. Or it could be they go to war, or it could be they are attacked in some way by someone. Any kind of traumatic event might cause this running away, in a sense, of part of oneself. It could happen over time, more like energy loss. So that's more when soul parts go away. There's a trauma, there's a shock. With energy loss, it might be that a person was told they were wrong over and over and over again, maybe by their parents, maybe by a partner, maybe by a church, maybe by a school, whatever it was, a society. They were told they didn't fit in, or they weren't right in some way. And years upon years of this kind of conditioning made them lose some of their essential energy. And it was like a loss of their healthy power. And that's like the loss of power. It's often hard to really know if someone had a trauma or they had a loss of power. The kind of telltale signs, and it really, don't worry about it so much, but one of the telltale signs is that there was one event that happened for the soul parts getting away. And for the loss of power, the loss of energy, it was more over time. Illness, being in a bad environment, hearing a lot of negative or violent communication or physical acts, whatever it was, taking a drug for a long time, slowly a loss of energy and power. Either way, this work is designed, all the work is designed to bring back those healthy parts into the person. And so the idea is when a person kind of rejoins, they become safe and spacious and whole enough to say, come back. Any part of me that is suffering, that ran away because it was terrified, or like oozed away slowly because I was made to feel bad or wrong, that part can now come back. That part can now fill me back up. And where a shaman would be using their guides to do this work, basically, they're just an empty vessel and the guides do the work. As a coach, we're supported by either our values. You can do this without any religious stuff. We're supported by our values, our good intentions. We're supported, and that the coach is supported by that, but the client is too. Their values, their good intentions, their wishes for themselves, their inner kindness, their compassion, their powerful metaphors, and things like the higher self. That is a great supportive experience in this session for the coach and for the client. So the idea is the higher self is the part of you, and many of you have done the journey with me to kind of get more information about one's higher self. That is the part of you that is the most true, most compassionate, most aligned, just feels the most in integrity and wholeness. And so that is the part of the person who is assisting here to say, now I am safe. Anything that got away can come back. In this strategy, we're also going to look at, often, not always, people feel this as an emotion that might have, it can be experienced all different ways, but some people will say it's like I've just been tired for like a decade. I've just been really tired. And you might want to ask, so what's the opposite for you of tired? Let's look for an antidote experience or emotion for you that we can call in now. And that's also a support. So they might say excited, safe, enthusiastic, joyful, whatever they say. That's the emotion they can also call back in as an antidote for that loss through that exhaustion that they felt for a decade. Now, this is also great. And actually, I really designed this specific strategy for our daughter after she had had a really tough breakup. So at the beginning of COVID, our 20-year-old daughter, who actually went to the last boot camp, it was really cool. So she might be listening to this sometime in the future. So I hope that's okay, Linnea. She went through a pretty bad breakup where she was really, felt she had done a lot to make the relationship work. And beginning of COVID, can't see each other while we're breaking up. And so it was traumatic. And instead of getting angry or feeling more empowered in any way, she felt less empowered. She felt like, oh man, I still love, I still love. And that's what hurts, that love for the person. And of course, she's young. So this is the first time her heart was broken this way. But in talking to her, I also realized that a part of our role in coaching that's very different than shamanic work or meditation is to learn what was learned in that loss, that very real loss that now we want to help the person heal from and become empowered. What was the lesson there? And how do we also take strength from the difficulties life throws us, the traumas? So we can then say, okay, I learned this, and then we can call that energy back, whatever it is we gave in that relationship. So this is great for breakups. This is a great strategy for breakups. So that's kind of the gist of this. And you'll see how we call it back, helping the person feel spacious and safe and supported. And it's easy, actually. You just call it back. You identify what was lost. You might feel it as a metaphor or an energy or an emotion, and you call it back into the whole supported, safe person who is right now. And then you actually find out the lesson and you go back again and call it back again. And that's the part that's very Ericksonian. So in Erickson's strategies, he was often taking you in one direction. You thought it was over, you had done it, and then you go somewhere else, and then you come back. to get more. And it's like a little way to just keep that expansion going. It reminds me a little bit of breathing exercises. Have you ever done where you like take a deep breath in? Let's do it right now. I'll show you how this works with breath. You take a deep breath in and you think, okay, I can't breathe in anymore. Hold it for a sec and then just breathe in a little more. You can breathe in a little more and then let it all out. And it always surprises you that you're able to just breathe in a little more. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. It always surprises me. Like, really? There was room for a little more breath? I didn't know. I thought I'd done it all. Yeah. So this is a session plan that can be used multiple times with a person. It goes really well after having done higher self journey, or a resourcing strategy like goals, obstacles, resources that is in your Opal Bootcamp, the 1 day. If you haven't attended that yet, don't worry about it because we're doing it now. You did resources with archetype that you can bring in here. And we made a little cheat sheet for it, a Cliff Notes version. So Linda or Jeremy, could you guys share that in the chat? Because I'm going to be following along with it as a coach, actually. I studied my own strategy plan and decided it was much too complicated. I needed a real quick version. Here it is. Okay, great. So you guys feel free to copy and paste that into your into your computer. All right. So we start this strategy today by finding out where was energy lost or given away. So was there a big event like earlier, Svetlana shared about her client who made that decision about being alone. And the client brought it up as a key moment where she made a decision to kind of let go of a certain kind of relationship or connection in her life. So that's not your normal, like run-of-the-mill trauma event, right? That's a little special, but that would be one. I remember another client once telling me that like she was tied up by a boy when she was young. And that was the event that we went back to and brought healing to. And there's many ways to bring healing to past events, but this is a very creative way that is very different than therapy.